All right, I kind of got my wires crossed because how my lifts look is it's not like Monday is a day and Tuesday is a day. I've just got a 4-day loop. So it's supposed to go legs, chest, back, arms, legs again, and then just repeat. But I swapped chest for quads. So I did quads yesterday, and like the whole drive here, I had chest in my mind. But really today's back. So it took a second to kind of get back into the back mode. But I think just some squeezing, close grip pull downs will be good. And my logic is just kind of the fact that I don't really do these a lot, you know? Like, I think there's a lot of merit to be had in a very specifically planned workout. But I also think it's just as simple as, have I done this movement with this style for a while? And if the answer is no, well, then throw it in, right? Have you done light squeezing, burning 25 rep sets of pec deck for a while? Maybe you might be due. Have you done really heavy incline Smith for a while? No, maybe I should throw it in, right? Just little things like that. So it's not so much of maybe specific targeting of a mentality, but more so just kind of a covering of all bases, you know? Like, I don't want to repeat a lift every time I hit it. I want it to be at least kind of different. So I think this will be a good way to do that. And let me just get a good song playing and freaking get started. And this is going to be on the lighter squeezing controlled side of things. There we go. All right, perfect. Two. Two. Oh. Okay. Okay. I think 2 more of those will be good. And then we go from there. Two. 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 Ooh. Two. Yeah. Yeah. Two. Yeah. Two. Whew. Okay, let's pick something else. Those were a good 3 starters, though, that's for sure. Usually I save this for a finisher, but in the same spirit of wanting to do something I don't normally do, let's do it right in the middle. Make it the second movement. So half pull down, half row, but I really want to focus on the mid-back squeeze of the squeezing portion. Okay. One more of those. Yeah, that's what I'm aiming for. I want to feel like my elbows are going to touch each other behind my back. That's my mental image of how hard I'm trying to squeeze. Honestly, with this movement, the stretch is the easy part. That's when you get to kind of relax. The squeeze is where you kind of actually have to bring it, which I know is obvious, but a little bit more so here. Yeah. Okay. I lied. One more of those, and then we can move on to something else. Okay. Now. Okay. Whew. Okay. Let's move on to something else. Something lat focused. Maybe even pull down. We'll see. Hard to beat a wide grip neutral pull down, which, you know, it's not massively different than a regular wide bar, but, you know, if you've noticed this or not, for me, I get a lot less forearm and bicep pulling here, and it's easier for me to visualize like pulling with my elbow, because when I'm like this, it's a little easier to like hunch it, whereas with my hands a little more opened up, I feel I can get more on my shoulder blades, if you feel me. Yeah. Okay, that could be it. Let me think for a moment, because I might want to do a little something extra. We'll see. Oh, we're definitely close to done, if not. Yeah, that ended up being all. So, no better way to look at the back pump than from the back, but just doing a little bit of a shirt suck in. And I think I might custom order like a fancy belt. Not even because I like belts. Like on movements that you would use a belt on, squat, leg press, bent over rows and stuff, I just don't like the internal pressure, you know? And I never do anything so heavy where I need that maximum bracing. But when you have like a baggy shirt on, and then the dude's walking around with like a really tight cinched belt, it makes their back look twice as freaking big. But let's see how we're looking just straight through the shirt. Oh, that's dangerous. Now, of course, you know, I'm like pushing my waist in super hard with my thumbs, but still, that is quite the freaking lat to waist ratio, which is honestly like the most noticeable part or change of this whole diet. Is it's not that I'm getting bigger, but it's that I'm getting proportionally larger. The ratios from waist to shoulders, Plus, obviously, like being grainier and like more defined adds to it. But having a smaller waist with the same size shoulders gives the illusion of being bigger. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? Illusion or not, I'm looking at it with my own freaking eyes. I'm cool with that. But let me scoot this thing over. There we go. All right, let's see how we're really looking. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're getting somewhere. So, yeah, that's what I want to see. Just a decent separation of basically everything. Like that Christmas tree coming up in the middle, lats, traps, this fancy looking thing underneath my rear delt. I used to call that like the teres major. Or no, I know. I'd always say rhomboids and people get mad at me, but that's what I'm looking for. And that's kind of what I'm feeling in the back of that cable row, like the finisher I was doing where I really lean back. It's not just traps like a shrug. Like I'm really trying to get in there with all that extra fancy shit right behind my rear delts. And it's not like you'll notice immediately, but if all those little individual portions of your back are getting hit and you're not just doing 2 pull downs, 2 rows and calling it a day, not to say that you are, but just a generalization, especially once you get cut up. Look, all those sets of like light squeezing upper back rows, you'll see that they've paid off. Same thing with rear delts. Nobody really loves grabbing 2 dumbbells and doing bent over rear delt flies with the 20s. It's just not cool. Or at least compared to bench or squat or, cooler, more fancy lifts. But if you do it long enough and you don't mind the fact that it's a little repetitive, well then guess what? Then you get rounded over shoulders and you're going to feel like you can walk around like a goddamn beast. But that's just one lifter's take on the matter. So that's all I got in the gym. Sorry, no car talk. This is like the 4th time I've lost the windshield suction cup. I don't know what to do. I think I gotta like epoxy it to the windshield so I never take it off whenever I go on kind of, any sort of trips or anything. But that'll be for another day. Let's roll.